As life would have it, I'm dealing with a shoulder injury right now, which means I can't bench press. So I've been experimenting with push-ups instead. And that's when I discovered something almost nobody talks about. Today, I'll show you 3 simple adjustments that can make your push-ups dramatically more comfortable and less painful. A lot of men have pain in their shoulders during push-ups. Usually, one side hurts more than the other, and that should tell us something. Today, you're going to learn how to adapt your training to fit your body and stop adapting your body to fit your training. By the end of this video, you'll know how to find your shoulder's pain-free path with push-ups. While editing some of my videos for this, I started to notice something I was completely unaware of. One of my shoulders is higher than the other. My ribs are actually rotated in a different direction than my hips, and my trunk isn't even very straight. But I can't feel any of that. I had no idea until I saw it on camera. And there is almost 100% chance your body has its own asymmetries too. Some of them might be causing you pain with your training right now. Now, we all know changing your hand width can change your push-ups, right? Narrow works more triceps, wider works more chest, but we're gonna go way past that. There are 3 other adjustments that most men don't really think about, and one of them changed my push-ups to make my shoulder less painful immediately. All you need to do is fine-tune these 3 adjustments. Adjustment number 1, moving your hands either up closer towards your head or down towards your hips when you are doing your push-ups. You can adjust them both at the same time by simply just gliding your body forward over your hands or gliding your body back towards your feet. And then you can find your area which is much less painful for your shoulders. Once you do that, you can start fine-tuning one side versus the other to find that least painful path for your shoulders. For my right shoulder, my right hand is more forward, closer to my head, so I can bang out more push-ups pain-free. Adjustment number 2, change the direction of your fingers. Here's something almost nobody tries: rotating your hands. Turning your fingers in flares your elbows out and takes your arms away from your body. Turning your fingers out brings your elbows closer to your body. All of that affects the angles of your shoulders. So start doing it the same on both sides of where you want your fingers to point. I'm going to point mine out a little bit and start to experiment what is less painful. They don't need to be facing forward. Now I'm going to point my fingers in. And actually, wow, that's way less painful for my shoulder. Same thing, you can fine-tune this by doing one side a little more out, one side a little more in to really find that pain-free path for your shoulder with your push-ups. I've been a wrestling coach for 15 years and have gotten many injuries over the years, but I've also started learning Judo over this year, which I absolutely love. Last week, I injured my right shoulder pretty bad during live Judo, called randori. I'm only an orange belt right now, but with my wrestling skills, it gives me a little bit of an advantage. So during live Judo, I get mixed up with a 2nd degree black belt. Now, he's a hell of a nice guy, but oh my God, did he throw me so hard 2 or 3 times earlier this week. Now, learning break falls or not, when a 2nd degree black belt throws you, you are slamming into the ground. So the next morning, I could barely move my right arm, right? Now, this is forcing me into the what can I do for myself now mentality when I want to train my upper body. But I'm not going to get stuck in the what I can't do mentality. That's what stops men from training altogether when they just focus on what they can't do. That's a recipe for decline and slowly gliding into frailty. Here at Second 50 Strong, we don't live in the world of I can't do it. We live in the world of what can I do? That difference decides who stays capable and formidable in their second 50 years and who fades before their time. And adjustment number 3. I see guys doing both versions of this adjustment without realizing how much it changes your shoulders. And that is experimenting with your head and chest position. When I lift my head in the push-up position to look up, it's raising my chest. That changes my shoulder angle. When I look down to the floor or even towards my toes, that changes the angle where my chest is facing, which also affects my shoulders. So you can start to fool around with, is it less painful looking forward? Which for me, that's way more painful. Or looking down this way, which is, wow, better. So moving your head and your chest dramatically affects the angle your rotator cuff muscles are going to be contracting during those push-ups, finding your pain-free path. Now stack these 3 adjustments together and your shoulders should be getting less painful with your push-ups dramatically over time. Here are the 3 biggest mistakes men make when doing push-ups. Mistake number 1, they focus on getting as high number of reps as possible and start sacrificing their form. This makes those last 5 to 10 reps get really sloppy and they start squirming and tilting around to get those last sets and making them really ugly. And that changes the shoulder position dramatically while you're doing your push-ups, causing injury. So here's the fix. Understand that going into those ugly reps in any of your training is exactly how most guys get injured in the first place, because they're changing the angle of their joints. Good form and proper technique is non-negotiable, guys. You and I all know it is almost impossible to get stronger when you're injured. And mistake number 2, going too fast. These guys only bang out the drive to the top of the push-up. They free fall down into the lowering phase and bounce out of the bottom, missing the 2 best parts of the push-up. Here's the fix. Know that the slow descent and the brief hold at the bottom, that's what builds shoulder stability and control. So you want to start at the top, slowly descend, hold just for a second, and then drive back up again with power. You want to slow your push-ups down. Control that drop. Pause at the bottom, and then you will have resilient, capable shoulders for the rest of your life. And mistake number 3, losing their core position. As fatigue sets in, their hips either start to sag or they arch their back to squeeze out a couple more reps. So when they start to get tired, this starts to happen, or they want to change their angle and they go up this way. Both of that dramatically changes the direction of your shoulders, which is changing how your rotator cuff is pulling. That puts a lot of stress on your shoulders. So here's the fix. Keep your body straight from your hips down to your feet. Slow the movement down so you can start paying attention to what your core is doing. The moment you start sagging or arching at the hips, your set is over. Here at Second 50 Strong, we don't accept that aging automatically means weakness. We know that we can stay capable, formidable, and even if we want, dangerous deep into our second 50 years. I'm 54 years old and I'm living that right now. Yes, aging is inevitable and death is certain, but decline is a choice. What you think about yourself now creates the man you'll become later. That's why I made the Apex Predator mindset. It's a printable free credo for men who refuse to give up their masculine edge and don't ever plan on saying, "It sucks to get old." I'll pin it in the comments below. If you take your time with these 3 adjustments, the pain reduction of each could add up to some serious pain-free push-ups. And of course, you can add in the hand width, which is wider or more narrow, to stack 4 total adjustments onto your push-ups. That increases your odds a lot. And I highly recommend you start this process on your knees and do knee push-ups first. That's going to really decrease the stress on your shoulders when starting to experiment. Those are not girl push-ups. Man, that name pisses me off. I know plenty of girl wrestlers who can bang out dozens of push-ups on their toes. And I know good men who blew out a shoulder in an accident or a sports injury and need to do push-ups on their knees right now. There's nothing girl about those men. They don't care about the name of the exercise. They care about what's going to make them stronger. Start where you are and grow from there. And always remember, most men fade, but you're not most men.